Thanks very much.
Superstar!
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most perfectly delivered quotes from SNL sketches. Lines so iconic, they elevated the entire skit to legendary status.
Any question?
Number 10, Miss Colleen Rafferty's Close Encounters. These sketches became famous mainly because Kate McKinnon needed little effort to break everyone, especially Ryan Gosling. The moment she opens her mouth, the whole tone shifts.
God, there was one gray alien by a door just kind of peeking out. I think he was the lookout. Look, it wasn't my worst Wednesday night.
Her scene partners share these dreamy, otherworldly alien experiences, she brings us crashing right back down to Earth with her very different tales. She delivers every line with a perfect balance of disbelief and eerie calm, almost as if she's describing a stroll in the park.
So my taco and my choco are out on the and this one guy peeks around the back. He starts pointing at my butt like, whoa, how'd we miss this?
Interesting, and how would you describe their demeanor?
Shoppers storming a Walmart on Black Friday.
But what really makes these sketches brilliant is how she physically throws herself into her strange stories, never missing a beat. Her commitment is so on point that it seems almost too easy to crack up the others.
One guy, he tried to wear it like a hat. You know? He had it draped over his nose like a Viking helmet.
Number 9, Abraham H. Parnassus, the Oil Baron. Sometimes a sketch is so wild, you can't help but wish you'd been a fly on the wall behind the scenes.
Now what does an oil baron do? The answer? Crush your enemies! Grind their bones into dirt! Make them regret they were ever born!
Adam Driver's delivery as Abraham H. Parnassus, the Oil Baron, is one of those moments. He fully delves into the absurdity of the character while grounding it with real weight. He delivers his lines with such serious commitment, especially with phrases like, "Look at your father, boy," and "Crush your enemies," that we're still quoting them to this day.
Oil is not for the weak. It is the earth's milk, and only the strong may suckle at mother's teat. You hear me, boy? Only the strong. Look at me, boy. Look at your father.
The humor may be dark and a little uncomfortable, but also totally unforgettable. Just when we thought it couldn't get more unhinged, Driver pulls out the visual aid, and suddenly, a legend is born.
And now you return her to earth, naked and defeated. I have licked you into pickings! I crushed you into the ground!
Number 8, Celebrity Jeopardy! Daryl Hammond's Sean Connery has got to be one of the most memorable characters from recent SNL history. He is totally outrageous and crass. No filter, constantly says something offensive, and turns every conversation with Will Ferrell's Alex Trebek into a full-blown roast.
What is yellow? Incorrect. Are you sure? I made some yesterday. Spelled your name on a snowbank, of course. It was your mother's handwriting.
It's not just about his crude jokes or funny reading mix-ups, though. Hammond's Connery is so full of confidence that it makes everything feel hilariously chaotic.
This is the sound a doggy makes. Mr. Connery.
Moo.
No.
Well, that's the sound your mother made last night.
He's practically overflowing with cockiness. Pairing that with Ferrell's frustrated Trebek makes it even better. Plus, when you throw in Norm Macdonald's Burt Reynolds, you get pure comedy gold every time. Talk about a powerhouse of a trio. Number 7, Nevermind. Weekend Update has always been a goldmine for some of SNL's most iconic and quotable moments. We could have picked John Belushi's catchphrase, but no! We're going with something else. Emily Latella, played by Gilda Radner, would pop in to share her take on a news story.
Why don't parents want their children to see violins on television?
She'd get super super passionate about an issue, but there's just one problem. It turns out that she'd completely misread it. That's when the update host would step in to set her straight.
Miss Lieutenant, that was violence on television, not violins. Violence.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yes.
Never mind.
While few of us like to admit when we're wrong, Emily's typical sweet retractions made swallowing that bitter pill just that little bit easier for the rest of us.
Not a steak, a state.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Number 6, Debbie Downer. You know a character is iconic when it reportedly helped popularize the term to describe people who bring down the mood.
Always there to tell you about a new disease, a car accident or killer bees. We beg her to spare you, Debbie, please, but you can't stop Debbie Downer.
While Rachel Dratch played the character multiple times, her first appearance stands out the most. After all, what better place to introduce the most miserable person on Earth than at the happiest place on Earth?
Roy isn't doing as well as they first thought. What? Who's Roy? Roy of Siegfried and Roy? He was attacked by his own tiger and suffered devastating injuries.
Debbie's lines are delivered with the driest, most deadpan expression, as if she's completely unaware of how uncomfortable she's making everyone around her. She'll chime in with the most depressing, doom and gloom statements, often at the worst possible moments.
Speaking of heat, if this greenhouse effect keeps up, we'll all be living underwater.
The extreme close-ups and the wah-wahs make it even funnier. It's a miracle she didn't break her co-stars more often.
Can you run about feline AIDS? It's the #1 killer of domestic cats.
I can't take it.
Number 5. This place has everything. This sketch has everything. Stefan was Weekend Update's go-to city correspondent, whose ideas for fun things to do in New York usually sounded like something out of a fever dream.
If you're looking for madness in March, I know just the spot. New York's hottest club is...
Kevin?
The character had many quirks, from how he'd start his responses to his colorful descriptions. Bill Hader, who played Stefan, was pretty much known for almost always breaking character, usually because writer John Mulaney would sneak in last-minute changes to the script to catch him off guard.
You can lose yourself on the dance floor surrounded by 12 dancing Jupids.
Jupids?
Jewish Cupids.
Cool.
They just want you to meet someone nice and settle down.
Yeah.
Hader would often cover his face to hide his laughter, though that didn't always work out. It's no surprise he became a fan favorite. Audiences always love it when he makes a comeback.
Needless to say, this place has everything. Skunks, K-fobs, Cookie Crisp, Dan Cortez.
Number 4. Party On! The Wayne's World sketches became a breakout SNL bit, spurring 2 movies, releasing merch, and topping the list on Saturday Night Live 101 Most Unforgettable Moments. It also gave us some memorable lines that we still incorporate into everyday conversation. In the presence of an idol, drop to your knees and declare,
I'm not worthy! I'm not worthy!
Celebrating a win, why not throw out a
Swing!
However, we'd say one of their best catchphrases was "Party On." The delivery is almost effortlessly cool, yet completely dorky, but it works for practically every occasion. Are you even a Wayne's World fan if you don't greet your buddies with your best Wayne or Garth style "Party On"?
Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Woo, woo.
Number 3. 2 Wild and Crazy Guys! 2 Wild and Crazy Guys was golden in the late 70s with Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd playing the over-the-top, thick-accented, and utterly clueless Festrunk brothers.
There's no other pair of Czech brothers who cruise and swing so successfully in tight slacks.
We are 2 wild and crazy guys!
They strut around in tacky, tight-fitting clothes, convinced that their exaggerated swinging bachelor lifestyle is irresistible to American foxes. What makes this sketch so funny is their absolute confidence despite being totally out of touch.
Let's catch some rays. You and what army? Forget about it.
Their delivery is loud, exaggerated, and packed with ridiculous phrases like calling themselves two wild and crazy guys with big theatrical gestures. They mangle American slang, miss social cues, and assume they're the life of the party, even when everyone else is baffled by them.
Get ready to take a hike, because we are two wild and crazy guys!
Number 2. In a van down by the river. Matt Foley is probably everything you wouldn't want in a motivational speaker, but somehow he gets the job done in his own bizarre way.
Threw the big game. Then he threw back his shot of whiskey. Then he threw up. Then he got thrown out of the house. And then he moved into a van down by the river.
With his loud voice and over-the-top movements, every line hits hard. He loves to share stories from his own life, urging everyone to learn from his mistakes so they don't end up living... where? Remind us?
Living in a van down by the river.
This impression is about more than just his voice. It's a wild performance filled with dramatic gestures, and he often crashes through furniture for effect. And if you think about challenging Matt, be prepared for one big
well, Lottie frickin' da!
Chris Farley really threw in everything, including the kitchen sink. Well, if he hadn't crashed into it first. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Well, isn't that special? She may not have been talking to us, but Church Lady's delivery made us feel judged.
Well, isn't that special?
Sweaty balls. No one can resist a sweaty ball.
Well, there's no beating my balls. They're made from a secret sweaty family recipe. No one can resist my sweaty balls.
Bye-bye. The airline staff's smarmy, dismissive tone is the defining aspect of this sketch.
Excuse me, could you tell me...
Bye-bye. I'm sorry, what? What part didn't you understand? The buh or the bye? Bye-bye.
Lay off me, I'm starving. The most relatable level of hanger.
Sydney, can you leave some for us? I thought you were trying to lose weight.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
More cowbell. We've got a fever. The only cure is...
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. I can see Russia from my house. Tina Fey's Sarah Palin impression has to be one of the best ever. And no, not just because of their uncanny likeness.
I believe global warming is caused by man.
And I believe it's just God hugging us closer.
I don't agree with the Bush doctrine.
I don't know what that is.
The real Palin's, interesting public appearances basically handed SNL writers material on a silver platter. But perhaps the most unforgettable moment isn't a direct quote. At least, we hope not. Faye's Palin and Amy Poehler's Hillary Clinton come together over the one thing they can actually agree on: sexism in politics.
I invite the media to be vigilant for sexist behavior.
Although it is never sexist to question female politicians' credentials, please ask this one about dinosaurs.
Poehler's Clinton stays composed, trying to make her points, while Palin is there too. And when Clinton lays out her thoughts on foreign diplomacy, Palin chimes in with her take on foreign affairs. It's so earnest, so unexpected, and somehow exactly what you would expect.
I believe that diplomacy should be the cornerstone of any foreign policy.
And I can see Russia from my house.
Which SNL SNL quote made the sketch for you? Let us know in the comments.
BTF business.
Wrong.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.